Hello students, how are you all? Welcome back to the online English tutorials with Madhuparna ma'am. Today's video is for class 5. Our topic of discussion for today's video will be the second chapter of the third unit from the English NCERT book meant for class 5. So, what is the second chapter of the third unit? It is Robinson Crusoe discovers a footprint. So, the picture that you can see on the screen is from your textbook. If you have seen the chapter from your book, you must be able to identify this. Yes, but students, today's class would be a bit different because today we are not going to learn things directly from the book. Today's class is a bit of an introduction to what we are going to learn in the subsequent videos. All right. And today you will get to learn many new things, many new information which you will not find in your textbook. So today we will only get ourselves acquainted with the topic that we are going to deal with in the upcoming few days. Before we get to know more about the other aspects of this chapter, let us first deal with who has written the story. Okay, so the author of the story Robinson Crusoe is Daniel Defoe, and this person wrote the story many years ago. All right, so today at the very first, our first topic of discussion is about the author. Let us learn some important things about the author who has written a story which you are going to enjoy a lot. The picture that you can now see on the screen is that of Daniel Defoe. Now, if you look more closely, you will understand that this is not exactly a picture taken by a camera. This is more of a painting. Yes, now let us see some of his details. His birth year is somewhere between 1659 to 1660. Now, his date of birth has not been recorded properly. That is why it is not known. But he took birth somewhere between 1659 to 1660. Now, just imagine students, right now we are in the year 2020 and this person was born more than 350 years ago. Just imagine you are going to read a story written by a person who is more than 350 years older than you. Yes, isn't that interesting? Okay, so we saw his birth. Now it's his death. The date is 24th April 1731. All right. He was not just a famous writer, he was also a famous merchant and journalist. You know who a merchant is and who a journalist is? Yes, if you don't know, open your dictionary and write the meaning in your vocabulary copy. All right. Some of his famous works, some of his notable works are Robinson Crusoe, which we are going to read now. Yes. Next is Moll Flanders. Another is A Journal of the Plague Year, and another one is Roxana. There are many other famous works written, many other famous works by this famous man, but these are the most famous ones. All right. So I'm not asking you to read all these things right now at such a tender age, but make sure that when you grow up or when you are in your 20s, do read these books. All right. These are classics of English literature. You should read these books. So students, what you can now see on your screen is a picture of the first edition of the Robinson Crusoe, which was published in the year 1719. All right. Published means when a written work comes out for the public for the first time. Yes, that is when it is called to be published. Now just imagine it is 300 years old. This book, the story that you're going to read, is a part of a book which is 300 years old. And the picture that you can see, the pages here look very brown, and they're very brown because the book is very old. It is 300 years old. Yes, and nowadays we know the book as with simply Robinson Crusoe. But when it was published, the name was The Life and Strange Surprising Adventures of Robinson Crusoe of York Mariner, who lived 28 years all alone in an uninhabited island on the coast of America, near the mouth of the great river of Orinoco, having been cast on shore by shipwreck, wherein all the men perished but himself, with an account how he was at last as strangely delivered by pirates, written by himself. So this is the big title, the full title with which this book came out for the first time in the year 1719. But with years, down the years, it has been changed and it has been only simplified into Robinson Crusoe. Now that you have seen the cover page of the first edition of this book, now have a look at these pictures. These are some examples of the new editions of the same book. Okay, so these have been published in different years. These came out in different years. They are all about the same story. They all have the same story that was there in the edition of 1719. Yes, just see different cover pages these are. If you Google it, then also you can find there are many hundreds and hundreds and different types of cover pages are available for the same story. And this has not happened in only this story. This happens to all the stories. Now let us have a look at some facts about Robinson Crusoe. So the first fact is that it was published in the year 1719. We have already discussed about it, that the story is 300 years old. Next, now pay attention. This is based on the real life experiences of a person named Alexander Selkirk. Okay, so when Daniel Defoe was writing this story, he did not just write it out of his imagination. Yes, he used his imagination and his creativity definitely, but the story was based on the real life experiences of a real person. And what is the name of that person? It is Alexander Selkirk. Now, there is a difference between Alexander Selkirk and Robinson Crusoe. Okay, Alexander Selkirk is a real life person. Yes, but Robinson Crusoe is a fictional character. Now, what do you mean by a fictional character? A fictional character is a character which comes up in stories, which is not a part of any fact, which is a fiction, which is imagined. So Robinson Crusoe is an imagined character. Now see the next point. While Selkirk spent only 4 years, the fictional Crusoe spent 28 years, 2 months and 19 days on an island all alone. Now just try to digest this fact. The real life person, the real Alexander Selkirk lived all alone. All alone. I'm repeatedly emphasizing on the fact all alone, because can you imagine living all alone? Can you imagine waking up one day and finding no one around you? It's very difficult to imagine, right? But this person, Alexander Selkirk, lived on an island for 4 long years. Whereas now, since this is an inspiration, the fictional character of Robinson Crusoe spent 28 years, 2 months and 19 days on an island. Just imagine, how old are you people? 11, 12 or maybe 13. And this person spent 28 years on an island all alone without anybody by his side. All right. So this is going to be very exciting. I'm telling you, this is a very interesting story. All right. And I'd hope that you read it as soon as possible. Now you can see the picture of the person, Alexander Selkirk. This is the person on whose experiences the story Robinson Crusoe is based. Yes. Now, again, this is a painting. Now, students, we also saw the Daniel Defoe's picture. The picture that we saw, it was not a photo, actually. It was a painting. Now, why are these paintings? Why did people not click photos at that time? Clicking photos is much easier than getting a painting done, right? But in those days, we are now dealing with people who have lived more than 350 years ago, where there was no camera. All right. So, how did they get their photos recorded? They got their pictures, they got themselves painted. Okay, so there were artists who used to paint these people, paint the photos of these people. All right. So on one side you can see the painting, and on the other side is a statue. You all are very well familiar with what statues are. You have seen statues of great personalities like Netaji Subhash Chandra Bose, Swami Vivekananda, and many others are there. Yes. So like those, this is also a statue of Alexander Selkirk. Now, students, pay attention to this. We are going to read the story of Robinson Crusoe, yes, but what I told you about till now was about the novel Robinson Crusoe. Yes, now you probably have quite a fair idea about what a novel is. We will discuss about what a novel is, but what you should understand is that the actual Robinson Crusoe that was written by Daniel Defoe is of more than 300 pages. All right. But here, the story that you are going to read, it is a small section of the big novel. Okay. Because it is not possible for you to read a whole novel in the school. Yes. If you do that, you will not be able to learn any other chapters. That is why a very small section from the big story has been included in your NCERT book. And this is a short story. Okay. So don't think that Robinson Crusoe discovers a footprint is the name of the novel. No, the name of the novel is Robinson Crusoe, but the name of the short story that you're going to read is Robinson Crusoe Discovers a Footprint. And this is the same story that Daniel Defoe has written. It has been adapted. A small section has been adapted from the big novel and has been included into your book so that you can also get to know a little about the very famous Robinson Crusoe. Now let us have a look at the difference between a novel and a short story. Now students, I'd once again ask you to pay attention here. Now we are going to see the difference between a short story and a novel. So the first difference is in that of characters. A short story has few characters, whereas a novel has many characters. So the story that you are going to read, Robinson Crusoe Discovers a Footprint, has not just a few, it has only one character. Okay. But a novel has many characters. If you read the actual novel, there you'll find multiple characters. The next difference is that a short story covers a short time span, whereas a novel may cover many years. Okay, so if you read the story Robinson Crusoe Discovers a Footprint, you will be just reading about a very short time period. Okay, but if you read the novel, there you'll find that Robinson Crusoe, like I said, he has spent 28 years on an island. So it is covering many years in that way. Yes, that is why a short story has a very small time period. But on the other hand, a novel it can cover many, many years. Again, short story has a very simple plot, whereas a novel has a complex plot. Now, plot is the setting. Okay. A short story, if it has a very small time period, a very small number of characters, definitely the plot will also be simple, but a novel has many complexities in it. Understanding a novel is not very easy. Okay, it is not as easy. Understanding a short story is much, much easier than understanding a novel because a novel comes with many complexities. All right. And the last difference that we have mentioned here is that of pages. A short story has very few pages and a novel has multiple pages. Now, this particular story, Robinson Crusoe, discovers a footprint. In your book, it is maybe covering only 2 to 3 pages, right? But in the novel, do you know how many pages are there? 300, around 300 pages. I told you about it. Yes. So there are 300 pages in the novel. Now that you have learned a lot, quite a lot about the very famous Robinson Crusoe, it is time to do some project work. Now there are some things that you have to do for the project work. The first is that you have to read the full story of Robinson Crusoe. Now, if you say that you have already read the chapter from your book, it is not enough because the chapter does not cover the whole story. It is just a part of the big story. And what you have to do is you have to read the full story of Robinson Crusoe. And how you can read it? Nowadays, you can easily buy the book on Amazon or Flipkart. But if you don't want anything getting delivered to your home from outside, it's okay. You can also download a PDF file of this. It is easily available online. It is free of cost and you can read it up. And you also have a lot of time. You don't have to go to school right now. So I'd expect that by the time school reopens, you would have fully read the story of Robinson Crusoe. The next step is that you have to write down all the difficult words in your vocabulary copy. I hope all of you have already made the vocabulary copy and you are writing down the difficult words there. So when you are reading the story, you will come across many difficult words which you need to record in your vocabulary copy. The next point is that you have to browse the internet to find more facts about Crusoe. All right. So when the school reopens, you will be asked about what research you have done on Robinson Crusoe. Okay. So you need to browse the internet and you already know how to do it. All of you have access to smartphones and internet connections. It will be very easy for you. The next thing is a bit interesting. It is that you have to draw a picture of Robinson Crusoe using your imagination. Now, there are many pictures of Robinson Crusoe available online. The book that you're going to read, there also you will find some photo. But I would suggest you to do use your imagination. Okay, when you would be reading, there would be a image of this particular person getting built up in your mind. Yes, so use that and try to draw a picture. In your drawing copy, you can use your drawing copy for that. And at last, you have to imagine a similar story and write it in your own words. So what is ma'am asking you to do? Ma'am is asking you to write a story on your own. Yes, so you will also become an author like Daniel Defoe. Yes, the fact is that it will not be published, but you will feel satisfied about it. So, just imagine something like this. It can be anything. It can be, based in the modern time. It can be something that is 300 years old or even 500 years old. Yes. So use your imagination and be creative with this story and try to write it down in your own words. With this, we come to the end of the introductory video. Now from the next video, the actual chapter will be discussed. Until then, goodbye and have a good day ahead.